Will Vega burn in hell, or will they be able to grind out some rounds in these best of ones as they face HellRaisers in this CIS matchup that we come to see over and over again? First, they took down Gambit today, and it was looking pretty strong from Vega, but will HellRaisers be too much of a challenge for them, guys?
Speaking of Hellcase, one of the sponsors of StarSeries Season 6. There's a promo code, SLTV, for bonus on your account, and SLTV10 to get a 10% to a refill, apparently, with an exclamation point.
Boom.
So,
So it's Fiery, Hellcase, HellRaisers, all over the shop.
Yep.
And Foreign, are you hot now, or were you happy with the room temperature today, mate?
All I ask for is air and a reasonable human room temperature. Not much of a diva.
What's a regular room temperature?
Yeah.
I believe about 23 degrees.
I think we're probably about that. We're
Yeah,
pretty good with
exactly.
temperature.
I'm
I think we're
fine
probably,
now, mate.
pretty good at
Loving
23.
it. Just ready for this last game.
This last one, I have a feeling it's probably going to be on Train as well. Just because Halvor said that he really likes Train, so we're probably going to get some more.
You know what? I don't normally go with like the intuition and sort of the psychic read on
I'm
the game.
cursing everyone.
But I have a feeling in this game, from the way this tournament's gone, Vega is somehow going to win this game.
Damn.
Therefore, ruining another Legends team out of the tournament, potentially wrecking the whole bracket. Because as we pointed out, Vega legit has about 1.5 maps that they're really good on, you know. And most teams do know which that map is and ban it. So I do feel as though like there's definitely some upset potential here. We've seen HellRaisers. The thing about them is they're another team where they can go high, but they can be very fragile as well. So it's an elimination game.
Anything's
possible. The pressure's there.
These are all the games today. Almost all the games in this entire tournament have been games which are like 60-40s.
Yep.
Right? Like, other than the mouse sports, when they go up against a team that they should beat, that's the only time in this whole tournament where you'd be like, maybe, it's like a, an 80-20 or like a 90-10. Whereas the rest of the games have been like 60-40s because there's either like honeymoon period teams.
Yep.
A lot of teams are on the same level. A lot of teams coming off the back of good results who need to convert and show good results again. And once again, HellRaisers are a team who have started slow in this tournament. Today they had a free win against CyberZen. And then you look at Vega, they beat the rivals. They're not really rivals, but at least they're from the same region, Gambit, who were looking good. So Vega actually today, if you look at today only, have had the more impressive victory.
And they've also had more time to prepare, right? Their game was a little while ago. These two teams will be able to sit down and do it, but that's probably more beneficial to the HellRaisers side, right? And we need to see a little bit more from them.
They got Jonta behind them as the coach, and they've got Amy as well as the analyst. So they have a pretty deep rack in terms of being able to... And
exactly.
Yeah, so I always like the way that Angel in-game leads, and I like the way that Jonta was able to complement that. In a game against Vega, you just need to make sure that they can't get away with just being scrimmy, right? And that's not one of the easiest things to do in Counter-Strike.
Now, when it comes to what we've seen from HellRaisers, right, we didn't see the Woxa Canista that we saw previously, right? We've not seen them step up to the levels we really needed them to do. Is that just the only factor we've seen here?
The problem is, it's a team where when they're not present in the server, you start struggling to find win conditions and find ways that they're going to get through. They're another team actually has a fairly shallow map pool, so the problem with the HellRaisers squad is a little bit one-dimensional, and the win conditions are so clearly defined that they know it and the opponent knows it, and opponents clearly see that when those players aren't going off, it's not a threatening team. It's not a very dangerous team, you know. Admittedly, there are other factors in the team that can come into play. Like we actually saw in this tournament in that Inferno game. Again, Dead Fox can have a terrible game. He can be being really poor. But actually, you got to give the guy credit. Bizarrely, in certain clutch situations, in certain late match scenarios where other people kind of get a little bit hesitant, they don't. The guy actually makes plays. Like he obviously has a very strange sense of self-confidence. But yeah, some of the things I've seen him do, despicable.
Do you want to elaborate on that?
No.
No, you're just going to avoid
it. That's the point of the job.
I'm just trying to get you to edge in there a little bit further.
So with Vega Squadron, we obviously talk about them being more of a looser team, right? Today, at least, it was JR and Hachi that were able to step up and put in a very good performance to get this victory over Gambit, and it was much clearer than I thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a scrappy game. I thought they'd have to be playing from behind, winning out in scenarios where they were on the low buys, the miracle rounds, as it will, and Gambit structure would have been too strong for them. It went the other way. Gambit looked really flat, and Vega looked like they were getting away with whatever they wanted. They were finding so many opening jewels on their outer yard. They were converting the power play situations when they had the 5-man advantage. And going up against HellRaisers, who are, I guess maybe more of a structured team than Gambit. Like they definitely have, Angel has set these guys up to already know a lot of the mid-round decision making that comes in with certain waypoints, and they've got their ABCDs already worked out once you take certain bits of map control.
It's mad how they sometimes do play so slow when you consider they've got these players that we watch the highlights. You'd think you'd be going all balls to the wall style.
Yeah, I think it's when they do more of that, it's actually Angel as well leading the charge, right? Yeah. He's an entering in-game leader, and also like he tries to sell certain fakes and stuff on his own as opposed to getting another player to do it. And I can respect that. That's an old school way of doing things. But this team is clearly built to have Voxic and Issa as the main 2 stars. Bondic would probably be coming in as your 3rd, and then Angel and old boy Dead Fox are the supportive units from this. But you look at this. If this is how Swiss works, so this is going to sound a little bit dumb, but the 4 teams that they will have played in this, the 4 teams that have played in this tournament to this point are all already out of the tournament. Yeah. I know that Swiss works in that, but 2 of them, they lost to in like the very early stages. Like we didn't, the Imperial one, yeah, okay, cool.
They'd be living a charmed life if they make the playoffs now, put it that way.
Yeah, their last 2 victories, Sprout in double OT, right? They were pushed to the wall by a team who really shouldn't be on the same level as a top 8 major team. And the Cyberzen game, that's the only concise, sorry, not concise, I'm using the wrong word, we've talked about this. The only clear victory, I'm learning, the only clear victory they had was against Cyberzen.
And also, this is another problem if you play against the HellRaisers squad, like the fact that they know they can just ban Mirage. They don't have a great map pool themselves, but they can go with that. Funnily enough, Mirage, obviously a map that they weren't that terrible when they played Team Liquid on at the major.
I'd get rid of Inferno at some point as well. I wouldn't want to be playing that one against Vega.
Surely Vega want to remove Overpass.
Cash is obviously one that is interesting. I'll be interested to see if they're going to leave that till a little bit later on. Vega actually just showed us something on train, so you really have to wonder at that point in time, is HellRaisers willing to play that against them?
I think they, oh wow.
Well, now it's the choice. If they want to have cash, they can have some cash. If not,
Imperial did beat HellRaisers in the opening match of the tournament on Cache. So
the thing is, it's hard to believe you'd want to play Inferno, but that is actually what they've chosen to go for. Not impossible to actually ban Train twice, but we know that was obviously supposed to be Cache at one point in time there.
So
we're on the ball.
Not snap, you know. You can't just go, you ban Train. Well, I ban Train as well. Your move.
That would be a weird way of doing videos. Vega on this map. It's not looking good. Fnatic, Avangard, Monolith, which
but they're feeling silly banning Train.
Epicenter qualifiers, NRG, Optic. Then you look at HellRaisers. Okay, we've had wins against Sprout with OT, Gambit, Pro 100, can't really count that. And then you've got Liquid and Mouse in there, but both losses. A few rounds on the board.
It's just, it doesn't look like a great map for either team, does it really?
Is this going to be scrappy again, where Vega just go, yeah?
I don't think the map allows it to be, right? Like, obviously, there are force by potential, but because of the utility usage and how well that you can really just cotton off areas of the map with Molotovs and smokes, it'd be hard to see it as a scrappy game. We have seen Vega try their odds, and maybe sometimes over at LootBet for a €50 deposit with the promo code SLTV. But Vega with the 5-man Mac 10 Banana Rush, they do like to mix things up. So
that's Vega, mate. Yeah. They are the odds one out. Meanwhile, HellRaisers, they're trying to keep an even keel. And you can bet your bottom dollar, and your top dollar, quite frankly, that one of these teams is going to win. Will you be on the right side of history?
Well, flip a coin.
That's a pretty sick slogan.
That was on it. Yeah, that was on.
Pretty sick slogan. I'd go with that.
You should have sold that.
Yeah,
exactly.
Make that money.
You can't really copyright that IP right now, can you?
It's all right. I'll start my own company soon. You'll know I'm making serious money if I start sponsoring StarSeries.
What would you name your gambling company?
FanLogic.
Betting the opposite of Thorin.
FanLogic. If you called your
Bizarro Thorin, there you go. Because obviously people want to win all the time, right? The odds are set by me.
Yeah. It might not be terrible. We're promoting a competitor that doesn't exist right now, but
competitors kind to promote, really.
You don't really want to do a competitor, right?
All right. Where did we see this one go down last time? Did Vega start on the CT side against Optic? That feels like a lifetime ago that we saw that game go down. It was yesterday.
Let me see if I find it.
I believe when HellRaisers played this map, they started CT side.
They did. Vega started on the CT side, yeah, versus Optic when they played yesterday, and they only were able to. They were able to get 7 rounds. And I think we spoke about it at the time that we expect them to be able to scrap. Scrap rounds together. They'll pull out 1 or 2 of those situations where someone will find like 2 big opening kills, something along those lines. But I don't know. I saw a different face from them today. They've shown me that they can actually, front run and close. So Vega a bit of a changing the pace, changing the water. Maybe you can't really be a freshwater shark, can you? Do we have freshwater sharks?
Don't think you do. You have freshwater dolphins, I know that.
You get freshwater crocs.
Yep.
Okay.
Had to wrestle a couple of them in my time.
And that
Only
was
small
just
ones.
because he couldn't get those bloody shoes off. But they are brilliant for the pool. That's what he told me. So it's hard life down there in Australia.
Yeah.
All right, let's get some predictions real quick, guys. How are we going? How
Good
we
luck at
thinking
this
with
one. I'll let you go first on this one, Chad.
You didn't mention any player names, so we could be on to a winner.
Give me a player name.
No.
I'll jinx them. Should we jinx someone?
Issa.
Oh, God.
Issa is a star player for HellRaisers, and he is going to play fantastically well in this game. And because of that, I'm going to pick HellRaisers. If this happens, if he has a bad game and HellRaisers lose, I have literally jinxed.
Adren
3
hates
teams.
me. They're going to really hate you.
They can't because it's just words, and I don't actually affect her, and they can't even hear me right now.
Okay.
If they think that I'm some kind of voodoo wizard who could actually put a spell on you, then I wouldn't be doing this. That's for sure.
Right, I am going to play the part of a voodoo wizard who can put a spell on you, much like David Bowie in the classic movie Labyrinth.
Oh,
wow.
I'm going to guess
we're
like
going right back.
1987 or something,
Yeah.
you know. I'm going to
Before I was
say,
born.
I would have gone with HellRaisers. I think they're the better team. I think they've got the better players. But in this one, and after seeing the Swiss system and today's results, I'm all in on the Vega Squadron. They're going to win this game. It's going to be glorious.
Yep.
I'm going to pick Tony Black to be my man because he's got the best name. That's pretty sick. Kibakan was garbage. Tony Black is the truth. Always bet on Black.
There we go.
Another
That's the way
Another
we're going.
slogan, yeah.
Slogans are us is what's coming out of Florin. I'm going to go with Vega Squadron as well, just
Oh.
because this seems to be absolutely crazy so far. I'm liking what I'm seeing from them. Maybe Chopper will show up. I know it's Inferno, but I'd love him to have one good game. We see him again. And I want to see him play best of threes. I would love to see how it goes down in best of three, because if they still manage to make it happen, then all logic has gone out the window in Counter-Strike. But that is us done. It's time to get into the game, and let's also hear from Harry and Vendetta and see what you guys think of how this is going to go.
Can we just keep that segment going? I was like,
Yeah,
where
no,
that was
great.
headed.
Just let them talk over the game.
Yeah,
Far more productive than anything I could do.
I don't understand how Ducky can think about like these comebacks so quickly, or just like these add-ons to whatever
No,
Chad and James say.
It just reminds me, like, I don't know, like Counter-Strike's Frankie Boyle, you know, maybe like
Yeah.
really quick, pretty savage, hated by a lot of people for some reason as a result.
Loved by lots.
Yeah, and then loved by even more. So there we go. But I don't know, Halvor, it's been a long day.
It's been a long day indeed.
What
and I
way
mean,
do you see this going?
See, this is the thing. Vega always like instills some sort of confidence in me when they get to play Inferno. Weirdly enough, though, they never actually went out. Again, they just make it scrappy, right? Then they had a really good showing versus Vega. Again, they show that they're able to win without Chopper necessarily being the man leading the charge. We saw JR, basically shutting down Banana on his own versus Optic. That's a positive to take with you going forward. Even with that, even with those things going in the favor or going well for them, I do have a hard time seeing Issa and Voxic both having like a non-factor game. And I do think like there's no doubt in my mind that Issa and Voxic are the two best players on the server. So normally that does set you in a position to succeed oftentimes, right? So for me, yeah, I'm leaning the way of HellRaisers. Vega Squadron, they've had an issue on both their Inferno games at this tournament to actually get off to extremely slow starts. And I don't think they can really afford to do so versus HellRaisers.
This is a desk divided, then I'm going to be going the way of the Vega boys.
Oh, really? All right.
Yeah.
I guess it's just me and Chad on
Not
our
to be confused
lonely
with the
boat.
Venga boys, who,
German pop group.
yeah, also fantastic, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I know Anders is a big fan of Venga Boys.
Yeah, I can
Moses
believe
not
that.
as much, but there we go, JR. The defender of Banana in the game versus Optic. He's going to get shut down about as quickly as you can. And that's one thing we saw. Actually, that's Chopper finally getting into the thick of things here. I say finally, but it feels like we've waited for 2 Inferno games for him to get something done. Still the one man defending here on the side of Vega towards B as trades are just going in all over the place. Crush is going to have to find a multi-kill here to keep Vega in this. No, it's not going to be the case. Dead Fox executes him. And I completely lost my train of thought where I was going before Chopper started with his shenanigans aggressively in A-Halts.
In where?
A-Halts. A apartments.
Yeah, nice.
Don't think that way.
Yeah,
I know it's late, but come on.
Yeah, sorry, Halvor.
You're an adult.
Yeah.
Nah, okay, yeah, that's true.
Here is Chopper, and he's 1v4. You really don't fancy his odds over here towards CT. He's going to get wrapped onto. HellRaisers will be finding the pistol right here. Getting off to a good start on Inferno. It's been an interesting time on this map for Vega. It feels, it's a map they play a lot. It's normally kind of their go-to versus the better opposition whenever we see them play it. So I think, when you take a look at the results of Vega, you might think that I think it's like a 16% win rate, which just sounds literally
for
awful.
every game.
But they're actually like pretty good on this map, I would say, right?
Yeah,
probably one of their best maps.
They're competitive on it. I mean, okay, so they lose to Optic off of a bit of a rough start. Well, again, rough start to the game. Config coming alive as well, and them not. Again, that was a game where they were winning out so many opening duels, but just couldn't convert rounds. That was a massive issue for them. But they set themselves up in position to win. Obviously, we saw them versus Energy as well to start off the tournament. That went to overtime. So it's not like they're completely lost on this map. They're just not able to close it out and actually capitalize on the advantages that they create for themselves. I mean, talked about potentially trying to avoid these rough starts. Losing the pistol is not the way to go about that. And yeah, now actually my mind came back to me. What I wanted to touch on is the fact that obviously versus Optic, we saw a bit of a different approach on how Optic wanted to play kinetic control, but JR was the kind of person who would never actually let go of the aggression. He would just continuously repeat until he killed it. And it's going to be interesting to see whether or not HellRaisers has a plan for that in mind, or if JR is going to change up how he plays it. For now, though, it's not going to be too much to be done for him. He's already been downed by Angel. Still no two-man setup here. Tony Black and Crush. 5-7 in the hands of Crush, in addition to a scout. 5-7 in the hands of Tony Black as well. So our team's actually opting away from the CZ, and Crush is going to make the most out of the scout. Finds Angel, and that actually sends the rest of the team running. They're going to join up with Isso, who's made his way up Archway. He might actually get collapsed on. Finds the first one out to Chopper, but does get some pressure on the side from Hoochie. Still able to make it out alive, and he's going to make sure there's a safe passage onto the bomb site with 10 seconds left for HellRaisers. They're going to get a bomb plant down, and if you're Vega at this point, yeah, bailing out towards that B bomb site seems like a pretty good idea. You still have armor on there on your side. You've managed to salvage an AK. Also holding on to that scout as well. So definitely some firepower to bring in to the third round. HellRaisers on there, and they might be a little bit keen to go hunting, considering they have 3 SMGs to their name. But they might also hold on to that going into the next round. Woxic, the only one protecting the bomb for right now, is on low HP, so he needs to get a little bit further away if he wants to hold on to that into the next round. Potentially drop that off to Angel if he wants to upgrade to an AK. And does so without any issue at all. So there we have it, 2-0 for HellRaisers, and you would expect them to pick up that third round as well, even with the saved weaponry on the side of Vega.
Yeah, they're not going to really have too much to work with into this next round now. Seeing as, we're going to have a little bit of time here while it is just these pistols in play in this following round. I think, maybe it's important to kind of focus on some of the win conditions. We've already highlighted the likes of Woxic over on HellRaisers and Issa as well. I think, the scary thing for Vega is that Woxic is kind of consistently having good performances, even versus, like some of the best teams in the world. He's always there as the shining star in this team. Over on the side of Vega, I think there's no denying that we need to see JR try and relive some of the hype from the game the other day. And if you recall, in the match earlier on, it was also looking pretty good from Hoochie.
Yeah, Hoochie on train was balling out versus Gambit. And if we want to go back to Inferno, I mean, Tony Black had a pretty great game in their bout versus Energy. So they do have players showing that they're capable of stepping up when needed to. Actually, the one player that we haven't really seen have too much of an impact throughout this tournament so far has been Chopper, who was the driving force of a lot of their success at the Major in London. So let's see what comes of it. But for now, they've created themselves a man advantage at least. Smokes are going to come in. HellRaisers committing to that B-bomb site. A little bit out. Dead Fox is going to find Tony Black boosted up, and might as well find Chopper as well. That's a cleared out B-bomb site. No more AKs to play around with. They still have armor on 2 players, so it might be an idea to hold on to that. At least going forward. You don't really stand too much to gain here. JR just poking around, see if he can find an easy kill with that scout. Someone moves out. This is going to go down, so a little bit extra bang for your buck. on the side of Crush. Probably not going to be holding on to that Mac 10 going into the first buy round, though.
Still wanted to find a few of these players. They look to try and exit as he tags them down with the scout. They are going to be a victim to this bomb. Oxic looking like he might go down. JR could actually find everybody here. He's done so much damage. They do just get far enough away to not fall. Now this buy going to be coming in for Vega Squadron. And if you recall, usually having a pretty good CT side, I think we're going to need to get off to that early on. Namely, JR over towards Banana was a real kind of standout performer for me.
Yeah, we've seen Vega Squadron not necessarily being afraid of just at random trying to get map control, especially you know, particularly towards that mid area and A apartments. So we'll see what kind of shenanigans they have planned for today. Also seen these double pushes down mid, also in mid-round situations. Can definitely catch some teams off guard. Crush, only one really goes by in mid, and he's going to get punished by Voxic. There you see the quickness of the Turkish Opper. Quick to reposition himself as well. Does stretch the defense, but Vega's shown that they're perfectly happy with leaving JR as the sole defender towards B as well. And also plenty of utility on the side of HellRaisers, not so much on the side of Vega. They're going to try to do a bit of a cheeky booster spot over their own smoke. That's not going to work out entirely as planned, and they fall down. There's a crossfire at the site. It's going to be what their plan B is. Angel moves his way forward. Still with by Uchi. And Chopper chimes in as well, so that's two trades going the way of Vega. Chopper finds a second one as well. Still able to maneuver around the boxes, and, well, just like that, you see the full rotation coming in of Vega, doing a marvelous job of holding off that push from HellRaisers, which, to be fair, considering how many or how much utility and how many grenades they had left at that point, probably could have you know, put it on themselves to actually use some of them, Molotov out some of these wonky angles when you got that far up in quad. They're going to decide to talk things over pretty much immediately after losing that round, but Vega do get on the board as quickly as they can. It's always nice to see. So a bit of a quicker start for them than what we've seen in the initial bouts on Inferno. Oh, it's all about not getting reset here. Surviving with 3 players, that means that there's going to be a pretty healthy buy coming in for the Russian-Ukrainian side too. We'll see what they'll be able to do going forward. Here you see the replay of Chopper just being able to move back and forth between the boxes, constantly keeping himself set, getting more isolated fights as he likes, and leads to a lot of success. And he has been the one player on the side of Vega that we haven't really seen shine so far here at Starladder, so definitely expecting him to make the most out of it in what is potentially their last game of the event. Tony Black again, aggressive in Banana. He's going to find Dead Fox as well. He does have the backup of JR here to help him out if he gets caught out. Manages to get out of dodge, so man advantage once again in favor of Vega Squadron.
Yeah, no trade back just yet from HR. Waiting down here towards the base of Banana. There is a smoke down. Vega able to rely on this this AWPer over here towards the top of Banana to lock this down on his lonesome. It's a very big responsibility. Flash gonna rain on him, but he catches a good timing, does spot out Issa. Gonna miss that shot, sticks around, drops the Incendiary, but he might want to start to try and move away from this position as he does spot players up on top of the logs. Rotations coming in here from Vega Squadron. It's gonna be Tony Black and Crush peeling off from that A-bomb site, and now Hoochie looking to try and join up with them as well. 25 seconds is push coming on in, and JR has to try and buy time. There are players here. The smoke in towards CT has gone down, but with only 20 seconds on the clock, HR have to try and commit. They have to start to push on in. And it looks like they're just going to go ahead and save. Running back down towards the base of Banana. They find one, but that's it. This round's all said and done. Vega Squadron going to be locking in their second. As 3 rifles carried forward.
Could have been worse for HellRaisers. That was definitely a potential for Vega Squadron to get a quick clean up there as they back off Banana. But Vega Squadron do what they have to do, really. Getting that second round in a row. That means that they're going to feel that much more comfortable going forward here. No longer having to fear that immediate reset. And on the side of HellRaisers, not a whole lot of money really to go further with. But they're going to make the best of it. You can see AK on Issa and Bondik. Voxic with the Colt in his hands. Angel deciding to drop his off and actually just move on with his life with his EZ in hand. Do this a couple of times versus Optic as well. Venturing about in apps, finds 2. Last time we saw that, that was in combination with Crush pushing aggressively in apps, but if Hoochie can get that much done on his own, he'll take it. Weapons have been picked up though by the remaining HellRaisers players.
They're going to be throwing out this one smoke that they were able to retrieve over here towards Long. JR, they're not feeling the pressure. He's going to go ahead and stick around. That's largely on the back of his own smoke raining on in over here towards the middle. Now backing away, so this actually leaves all the pressure onto Crush and Chopper, and I think that might give HellRaisers a real opportunity to build into this round if they find both of these kills. There's still 45 seconds on the clock, and Angel still being up, looking to try and find some holes to exploit here in the Vega Squadron defense, and he might have done exactly that as they aggress on round through Long. Just Chopper and Crush in this A-bomb site, the 2 Cs to try and decimate HellRaisers, and they're going to do exactly that between them. They will shut down at this play, all tied up 3-3. No money left now for the HellRaisers side, and a chance for Vega Squadron to take an early lead here on their CT side.
All reason to feel pretty happy about how they've managed to crab back into this. Solid setups here, even when they haven't had necessarily the optimal amount of numbers towards the right bomb site. Vega Squadron making the most of what they have. Now an opportunity to get into the lead for the first time in the game.
Yes, indeed. JR going to be looking down at Banana with his AWP. This has been such a tall order for these guys to try and deal with in this round. You know, with only pistols to their name, you imagine there's a very small chance of that. Dead Fox is there at the base of Banana, but
JR's not going to leave just for no reason. He's constantly going to come back like this until we force him out. With no flashes or anything like that, HellRaisers, they're going to run into a lot of JR. Dead Fox is playing with fire here, but does a good job of baiting out a shot. JR is definitely willing to bite on those. Instead, it's going to be HellRaisers moving up towards middle into the crossfire of Chopper and Crush.
yeah, these two being a bit of a dynamic duo in towards this A-bomb site. Chopper even extending further forward has gone ahead and padded these stats. This is going to be a Vega squad round, and 5 players should stay alive here for this CT side.
Yeah, it's going to try to attempt to get the bomb in, but before he gets that far, Tony has made his way down Banana. Yeah, things looking pretty swimmingly for Vega Squadron. You can see a pretty significant amount of money on their side as well. This is, you know, post-buy, they're still sitting all above or around that 7 to 8K mark. Only Hoochie really on 4K.
Yeah, this is actually a pretty decent start for Vega, right? You take a look at it. Now, JR, maybe a few signs of worry, because I think he's missed a few shots that maybe we would see him normally hit. But, you know, no need to get worried yet. You're still winning rounds. The rest of the guys are there. And that perhaps is the best thing, is you have Chopper and Crush, 2 players that, you know, we've seen step up in separate instances. Not really anything from Crush at this event just yet. But,
oh, Hoochie. Cheeky Devil. Not going to win out the fight this time around, but I do like and appreciate the fact that he continues with his aggression towards AAPS here. Again, kind of a rogue mission on his end, not having anyone on the side of Vega pushing up abs or something similar. But I think that's a risk worth taking. I mean, Issa surviving with 1 HP, that's just, you know, small margins going the wrong way. But it does put a bit of a stunt into HellRaisers in terms of where they can feel safe around the map, running into a lot of pressure.
Now we get to see Tony Black and JR. This B-bomb site hold is something that's always been pretty solid for Vega. It's going to get tested now. Woxic with the AWP. He's going to be the man you really want to see taking the fight to JR. And actually, as they find Tony Black, HR might just look to go fast on the back of it. And indeed they do. The smoke splashes, Molotovs, everything falling into place to facilitate this take. JR on the pillar, going to get overwhelmed by Angel through the smoke crush, able to find one, but that is not enough to tempt them into going back into this round. It will be a 4th for HR on the board. And second AWP picked up on Angel. Going to be interested to see if they decide to keep that, because
I would be very fearful for them if they decide to do that. I mean, that limits your mobility so heavily.
Imagining it's just so he can watch CT right now, like in this exact instance, it makes perfect sense. But yeah, usually, you know, that is the furthest thing that you would possibly want.
Yeah, I mean, just one AWP on T-side Inferno is pretty hard to make work. So just adding 2 into that is too many chefs, really. So yeah, he's already swapped that out. But no real indication of HellRaisers wanting to go chasing. They don't really have the economy to do so, and it's not like they're going to put that significant of a dent into Vegas anyhow. There you have it. Jason Moses O'Toole's favorite logo in all of esports. All right, back to equal footing, at least 4-4. As we move into the next round. And I mean, we talked about Vega potentially having to be afraid of getting reset. Now it's the pressure being on the other foot. HellRaisers did do a great job of keeping many players alive on that take, only Dead Fox going down. So want to string more than just one round together. A lot of pressure being put out here, but they're not exactly winning out on the trades. Chopper being tagged down to 40 HP. Tony to 68. So I think it's fair to say that HellRaisers won out that duel, even though immediate banana control is in the hands of Vega. They've also rotated off the 2 aggressors from B. Now it's all down to JR.
Yeah, he hasn't had the most flying of starts, but there's always time for him to build into it. Still, HR not too keen on aggressing up banana. Now that changes. They start to push on in. Angel and Dead Fox leading the charge. The bomb going to be on the back of Woxic. They have position here, but
JR just constantly looking for somewhere he can go more and more aggressive. So even though he's falling back, you can tell he's still looking for that opening frag. That's understandable as well. Having to commit to a potential, 5v5 retake on that B bomb side is no easy feat by any means. So he's gonna start to look to get things going as quickly as possible.
yeah, here he is, the man in question. Effectively going to find himself in a 1v5 because help and support is a long way out. Tony Black sitting down towards CT, trying to line up a pop flash for himself. There's JR to find the opener. Tony Black comes barreling in as well. Dead Fox is able to trade, but Chopper on this wraparound up through Banana is going to be the one that should seal their fate. Doesn't matter, he doesn't play into the round. He's just the fail-safe, the man there, in case everything else goes awry. And that's going to be Vega finding themselves a 5th round here, keeping that lead as well, and immediately stealing around back and away from HR. Does now call that economy into question over on this T side. Should be able to field one more buy. Tactical pull was called on in. And in spite of losing the pistol, there is no denying that Vega have gotten off to a good start here in these rifle rounds.
Well, we'll see. Tactical pause being taken by HellRaisers to talk things through. And I mean, you said it. There is a potential to get a buy-in here for the HellRaisers side. But again, it comes at a pretty big risk too. Again, when Vega have been able to stabilize, they would be able to buy up regardless of what happened in this round. And for HellRaisers, they would be looking at their eco, though, barring a bomb plant. Crush this time is the one to test the waters towards second mid. Is not going to commit to anything, just doing the casual rope around. And again, back to same old for Vega Squadron.
Again, another slow round here from A-Sharp. Isa keeping an eye on the top of banana here. That's not banana run, top mid, but gonna wait for that smoke to start to fade. Chopper and Crush with this crossfire line on up rotation coming back around from JR. This is one of the first times we've really seen Vega move that AWP away from the B bomb site. Not going to try and navigate now the top mid to help out the rest of his team. They do lose Crush, but JR and Chop are going to be there. And actually, frags all go the way of HellRaisers for the most part. There is now only one man here. That is Hoochie, and he had a good performance earlier. Wrapping round from behind, though, that's Dead Fox. Here's Tony Black, the man that Duncan said would have the time of his life here.
Started off in a solid fashion. We're to convert this into a round for Vega. Very much solidify that. Still expecting some sort of a wraparound here from HellRaisers. Little does he know, both Voxic and Bondic do find themselves on that A-bomb site. Their smoke goes down. Okay, a little bit of eagerness from Bondic to find some action. He's going to find it, but not the kind he wanted. Tony, oof. That's a bad timing for the reload, but it doesn't matter. And I mean, Duncan did claim to be a prophet, and he might very well be right, because Tony Black right now is sitting on 9 kills, leading the way together with Chopper here. He's going to have plenty of time to defuse that bomb as well, surviving on 1 HP. And that is a tough one to lose if you're HellRaisers.
Yeah, almost definitely. You know, everything's going your way. You find all the kills necessary, in spite of the fact as well, taking into account HellRaisers walking into a stack there. There were 4 players for Vega inside of that A-bomb site, and they're able to win out those fights, get the bomb down. Hoochie, you know, doesn't stay alive very long. He's the only man left, and then it does all fall onto Tony Black. So fantastic stuff from him to actually hold his own there in that 1v2, and not the easiest 2 players to do it against either, especially if you look at Voxic, someone who's so often talked about as the player to keep an eye on inside of this HellRaisers squad. And yeah, I mean, even then, one of the you know, kind of spoke about as one of the best players in Turkey, alongside Centaurus, yeah. So,
oh, JR.
Oh no, JR. He's going to go down, but immediately traded out courtesy of Crush. So, certainly not the start to the round that Vega wanted. And you can see some of these uncharacteristic misses from JR. Some of these situations he normally looks so comfortable in. He's looking a little out of his depth right now.
Luckily for him, he does have Chopper, who's definitely showing a better side of himself. Same can be said for Tony Black. Chopper right now might see some action here as HellRaisers make their way up Archway. Ringo finds 1, is able to combine as well with Hoochie to find 3 in total. That's exactly what you needed. Bondic has made it onto the site, but the bomb hasn't. Well, maybe can get the jump on Hoochie. No, Chopper's going to be there to fend him off and cover his teammates back. That's exactly what you need. When JR's not showing up, you need someone else to be able to carry the mantle for Vega, and Chopper definitely seems ready for it in this game.
Yeah, and speaking of carrying things, you know what carries the performance of these PCs? NVIDIA, they're the graphics platform here of this StarSeries. How was that for your taste, Halvor, that little plug of mine? But it is going to be Vega.
Seamless as always.
Yeah, you know me. I find it really helps if you brag about it once you've done it.
Well, it's
fair. Here's Vega finding this early leader. They've impressed me thus far. I didn't feel like HellRaiser would have given them more of a run for their money. Angel going to go barreling through that smoke, which Angel does love the cheeky smoke push. Try and catch players unaware.
Speaking of pushes, Hoochie tries for a cheeky one again. He's been aggressive over towards AAPS. Goes down this time around to Bondic. So the advantage they had has been equalized, but I feel like HellRaisers right now are just a big old question mark. They don't really know what's going on, what to expect out of Vega. You see these heavy banana pushes coming out from their side early on in a lot of the rounds, but still they're putting on pressure on A as well. So there's not a whole lot of room to breathe in if you're HellRaisers at this point. Oh, JR turns away at the wrong time there to potentially find Voxic. Voxic does have the op, and now the positioning in JR. Hello. Careful. Fire is not good for you. It's terrible for you, actually. He's actually going to take himself down to 1 HP. 20 Black's not able to connect the shot. Does equal damage on Dead Fox and Issa pretty much. And ooh, HellRaisers are going to come running into the already wounded JR. Well, lands one shot, finds the second one. How does he find that?
JR
Working his bit of magic right now, and Dead Fox has already been tagged up. He's on 37 HP. He does have the bomb on his back, so bomb plant should be in order, but Crush closing in on his heels.
Yeah, Dead Fox going to go ahead and take up position at the back of this bomb site. Crush slowly but surely rounding the corner in Ruins. Lots of angles to keep an eye on. It does have that one flash to try and force Dead Fox away, but as he edges forward, who's going to spot who first? Dead Fox. Here's the footsteps and goes ahead and finds that kill. That's going to be HellRaisers moving on to a 5th round, all on the back of Mr. Dead Fox. So 7-5 now, still in favor of Vega.
It very much is, and their money's still looking pretty okay here. Not really the same case for HellRaisers. They're having to really claw and scratch to get these rounds. And here we see JR. He saw him struggling a bit in Banana. Maybe a CT spawn is...
I don't get how he hits that.
That's where
He's like straight from the film Wanted, you know, like where you have to curve the bullet, right?
I would have smashed down that, whatever that thing was in front of him.
Yeah. Well, JR, tell you what, he's a pretty stone cold guy, not the most emotional player. You saw that was his reaction cam, by the way, a minute ago of him landing that shot. Not that I think anyone would have realized, but
as usual.
maybe he has some Finnish blood in him. Who knows?
Could definitely be. Seems though they do net a 5th round, and as well as Vega has played right now, HellRaisers are still racking up a significant amount of rounds. Does obviously help the fact that they did win a pistol. For HellRaisers, it's been an uphill struggle, constantly trying to break the economy of Vega, and that's not really been possible to do up to this point. They do get a chance now, though. JR this time not towards Banana. Rather posted up in quad. Flashed back. Drops down. JR's never going to back down from a fight, ever. He's just constantly going back, dipping his toes in hot waters. And that sends HellRaisers over towards the B bomb site. But there's also 2 very competent defenders here on the side of Vega.
Chopper. Not entirely sure how he's not burning in this, but he's sitting in it right now. Going to go ahead and open up. There's only 7 seconds left. He just has to buy time, and that's the end of this round. As actually they walk like lambs to the slaughter. Please hit the fist bump. Oh, that'll do.
Good enough.
Yeah, it's fine. It's better than just that being left hanging, I guess.
Exactly.
But, that's going to be an 8th round there for Vega Squadron. And fantastic hold there inside of this B bomb site as well, just to delay that by so much time as well. Good utility usage to get that done. You can see that's a Bondic on our screen, not exactly having the game of a lifetime right now. No one is really, and uncharacteristically so, it kind of is a lot of this falling onto Dead Fox, not normally the man we associate with
carrying HellRaisers. Well, and it's definitely true. He does have his games every now and again where he comes alive, but obviously you've come to expect both Issa and Voxic to be at the forefront, but they're really having a tough time here. We might have to look into whether or not Chad actually is a shaman or not. Dead Fox, you know, toyed enough with JR at the corner of B there. This time he's actually going to get punished for it, down to 19 HP. But it seems like HellRaisers not really putting too much stock into this round. As you can see, Angel still hanging out in T-spawn, just talking things through. Kind of using this eco round as a bit of a timeout in itself. JR starting to warm up here. landing shots, even though they're not necessarily getting kills immediately. He's 3 hits into this round already. Angel's gonna sit and stir in a bit for a bit into that Molotov. Loses 40 HP and Crusher's already in place to potentially deal with this. Wide strafe from Angel. That's gonna buy time from Bondic to get the trade, but JR and Chopper are already in position to deal with this. And Hoochie chimes in with Issa as well. That's a 9th round for Vega Squadron, and it's been a while since we've seen Vega actually get double-figure rounds on one of their halves. It's always been like a bit of a struggle for them to get any sort of distance between their opponents for the better part of this tournament. I guess the Gambit game would be the one exemption to that rule. Here we go. Final bite. That's not a nice final bite to have if you're HellRaisers.
No, definitely not, right? You're moving into the last round of this first half with an MP7 and a MAC-10. And even then, it goes from bad to worse. JR laying down the pain over here towards Banana. Man advantage gain. And I tell you what, he had a very, very slow start, Halvor. It did our boy JR. But he's very much found his footing here towards the latter stages of this first half. Now, Woxic, speaking of finding your footing, this is the man we need to see start to step things up for HellRaisers. He's the one we so often talk about as the most promising player in this team. Immediately, the trade is there, and it's on to Issa. Bondic going to fall immediately after as well, so it's Woxic and Dead Fox. Now, Dead Fox, not normally the man we associate with a hard carry, but he's having a fantastic time of things right now in this game, and he's joined by Woxic, the usual top performer, the man that we expect to see at the top of the board. And just as I'm kind of hyping this up as a possibility, Dead Fox going to get cut down. So it is just Woxic left alive in a 1v4. Bomb on his back, 50 HP to his name, and an AK in hand, wrapping around through short. He's going to line up that first kill on to Chopper. There is still a man inside of B. No, A rather. This is going to be Hoochie. JR as well taking up position, flashed off, going to go ahead and tag it down, and Hoochie there to finish things off. So Vega 10-5 at the end of this first half. For HellRaisers moving into the CT side, we're going to need to see them really pick up this pistol if they want to get back into this game. Yeah, one thing that maybe does bode well for them is Woxic on that AWP becomes that much more of a threat here on the CT side.
Absolutely. So we didn't really see much of Woxic at all throughout this first half. And I mean, well, most of the HellRaisers players were fairly quiet, all things considered. New dawn, new day. That CT side might be what they need. We've seen that with several teams actually so far in this tournament, that they need a bit of a wake-up call before they get into it. But that starts with winning the pistol. Otherwise, you're going to have quite the mountain to climb once you get into it, and you're not going to have too many chances to do it as well. So if you start tumbling, it might be over before you even get really into it at all. Nice nade and damage done onto Issa and Angel. And this is an app strat that started very far back for the side of Vega, just potentially denying any sort of information HellRaisers would have liked to have. They do have a smoke and a flash on JR. He's the one sitting back at slope here, so we'll see how he gets into position to potentially allow his teammates to burst out of apps. There's 4 players making their way over towards the save bomb side. Actually, as I say that, Angel's going to rotate back over towards B. There hasn't really been too much of an indication, but JR's thrown out a couple of nades over towards the archway here, and that's the go signal.
Issa down in the pit. He's going to go to pick up a couple of frags, but now it's Tony Black and JR. These two have been good. Angel trying to take this fight versus the armorless JR. He's lucky to get out of there with his life, and actually, he dodges them the second time around. Tony Black going to be chiming in with another, and now Angel left in the 1v2. What can he do? USP in hand, and the man at the helm of this HellRaisers squad now tasked with trying to get them back into this pistol round, one that is really feeling like a must-win round for them if they want to go ahead and keep themselves here in the competition. While he does find the first, there is no kit. 2 HP to his name. Tony Black going to finish him off as between him and Hoochie, they lock in this round for Vega. 11-5, Halvor. And a potential now at 13-5 scoreline before we see this first buy come on in for HellRaisers.
Yeah, we were hoping to see, potentially that op on Voxic coming out early. That's not going to be the case. At least it doesn't look likely. Well, we're going to see a bit of an investment on the side of HellRaisers. Actually, a lot of an investment.
Yeah, I was going to say, I mean, I think if I'm a HellRaisers, I'm trying to get this AWP out as soon as I can. I don't know if...
It's not a bad place to place your bets, really. All things considered, Voxic has usually been reliability himself.
I mean, they've taken a big gamble, you know, anticipating that maybe they can get something done with this, you know, with this partial investment. And it's quite the gamble to take because, you know, suddenly you're not going to be having that AWP out. It's around 19 when you're fielding your first buy. And yeah, for a team like HR, we know how important that can be. Regardless, Hoochie going to start to creep on forward, leading the charge. Angel here alone gets smoked off, won't find anything with the Deagle, and HellRaisers at this point in time probably just going to consider saving. Angel can just back away, rejoin with the rest of the guys inside of this A-bomb site and look to take everything here with them into this next round. And with so many players going damageless, then it's going to make for a better investment as well. Tony Black, he's knocking on their door. He's hunting them down. I don't know actually he finds too much, but anything he does find is going to be very, very valuable indeed. And out of all the players to lose, really, that's the one that you probably want to have go down the least.
Yes, it's going to find a return on to Tony Black as he's out and about scavenging for frags. Well, at least at the bright side for HellRaisers, that you get to maintain most of their weaponry that they went into the round with. But when you invest this heavily, I mean, you hope to get more out of it. They're going to get another chance, though. Voxic probably smart to not invest anything at all, really, in hopes of getting that AWP up as quickly as possible. We'll see, though. Vega Squadron sitting at 12. HellRaisers only at 5 as we get into the 18th round of the game. Cool little tower being attempted here from the side of HellRaisers at the edge of the B entrance. Not going to result in anything, though.
Well, they might be walking into the stack here on the side of Vega, and that there is not the place you want to find yourself in that many crosshairs all at once. They're going to be... especially not with everything that was carried forward, rather, from this previous round. Let's not forget, I mean, for one of these two teams, they'll be heading home. The other securing their spot in the playoffs starting in 1 day's time. I think a lot of people would have been favoring HellRaisers looking into this matchup, but Vega, they've looked impressive these last few days. Tony Black wrapping in through CT spawn. They got to drop Angel. Dead Fox managing to block that smoke with his shins. Issa, there's that Deeg chiming to life. Is going to get one bot. Nick now in with another. In this round, looking like it could elude Vega. Tony Black emerging in from CT spawn. He's the savior. He's the man with the cape on, saving the day. Woxic in with the trade. JR left 1v1. Going to throw that Molotov out. Woxic will be held back for the time being. Looking to try and stick this, but JR forced off of it once again, and Woxic finding that kill. It will be HellRaisers somehow, some way, finding a 6th round.
Sweeping back into it. Man, JR desperately wanted to get that bomb plant down. A little bit confused as to the angle he chose. I mean, puts himself in, I mean, if he's not going to trust the Molotov, then I don't get why he positions himself in that way. Still had time to potentially put himself by first boxes to get him outplayed down. That way he can't get caught up by from main. He still has the Molotov to cover from him. And it also requires Voxic to actually get a deeper angle into it. In any case, though, that's not the follow-up that you were hoping for if you're Vega Squadron. HellRaisers, though, them being able to actually hold on to so many weapons from that round before really pays off. And this one in Voxic, who actually didn't invest all that much into it. He's going to come away with a round victory. So up in hands, and this is really where HellRaisers need to start things off. Bonding. Good job of that. Finds Chopper has been pretty much sent like a missile up Banana, all by his lonesome. Toxic to defend here towards A as Vega pretty quickly move up for some map control. See Flash is coming out to get Dead Fox in position as well towards Arch.
Have control here at top mid, but they don't have much else. These nades doing a lot of damage. That's going to be 3 players tagged down. Tony Black still able to find one, but here's Woxic finally has that AWP out. Angel now chiming in with another. We mentioned how this man loves the smoke push. He's going to go ahead and extend the man advantage quite heavily in favor of HellRaisers. And now Bondic up on top of Coffins, tucked away. Going to hear the footsteps coming on in. There's 40 seconds left, but no smoke for the cross. You're relying very heavily here on JR finding something.
And Bondic just sat in a position where he's going to spot for a tiny pixel to drop by. And the second that happens, he's probably going to fall back down, but never even going to come into play as Vega Squadron has probably come to the same conclusion as you have. If you don't have a smoke to cross, you don't have anything to really clear out any of the corners on that B-bomb site, you're probably better off saving. Does mean that they go into the next round with at least an AWP and an AK, but no utility to really follow that up with. JR does get 900 cash to move forward with, though, so he can invest a little bit. Remains to be seen if the rest of Vega wants to actually supplement this save. And seemingly they do. Crush gets a deagle. Chopper with a P250. Tony Black, he's been reading patch notes as well. So he's going to have a Tech 9. I don't think we've seen actually that the Tech 9 have any sort of significant impact up till this point. Not that too many people have actually used it. I think, I'm trying to remember who it was on Train who managed to line a pretty nifty 1-tap, but that's just about it. Actually, it might have been Tony Black, considering they played versus Gambit. So the opener goes the way of Vega Squadron. That means that the defensive HellRaisers are going to get spread a little bit thin. They don't really have the opportunity to put Voxic as the sole defender of that B-bomb site. So that's going to be Bondic with a lot of pressure on it to make things happen. Doesn't have a Molotov either. Neat little detail there from Vega, actually, to prevent any sort of noise coming out. Drops down on his teammate's head. So Bondic might not have any ideas what's about to strike. There we go. Flash comes in, and Chopper has already made his way around the corner. No way for HellRaisers to get into this in time, and they're just going to have to give up on the round. That is just lethal from Vega Squadron. I love how careful they are about that. Just an entire way they approach Banana with, even getting our first player boosted up, and then just making sure he gets down safely without giving any sort of noise cues for HellRaisers to potentially set an early early rotation up for that B-bomb site. That's about as clean as you can get it. I mean, if you want to look at one thing that really sticks out, we talked about Vega Squadron, how they were doing such a good job versus Optic of finding opening kills, but not being able to convert on it. Right now, pretty much everyone on their side, or at least in total, they're having a grand old time actually finding these opening duels. And Angel is 1 for 7.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. He's been a real, player that Vegas would have kind of been consistently
it's been a real traffic
exploiting.
cone, is what you're trying to say.
Yeah, I mean, he's really not having the best of times, just getting ran over wherever he seems to be bottom of the board right now. 40 ADR in these rounds. I think he had 7 kills to his name, or 5 kills to his name. So
it's not
I was
going
actually overhyping him there.
It's not going exactly as he'd like it to be.
And you do imagine that as Angel starts to fall behind maybe the rest of the squad, and Vega kind of feels like they're in his head, then I mean, some of the calls he puts out are going to be that much worse as a result.
I mean, one of the things that HellRaisers were so good at initially with this lineup as well, and even older HellRaisers additions, as long as Angel was at the helm of it. You know, they did thrive off of a bit of, you know, unorthodox way of playing both CT side and T side in terms of like what kind of aggression you put out towards your opponents. And Vega are very much a team that kind of are used to that environment. Maybe that's what's throwing Angel off. He's basically being given his own medicine, and he's not responding too well to it. Also really impressive, you know, on the opposite side of it, Tony Black. He's 5-1 for opening duels right now, so he's doing a whole lot in addition to just fragging out like a baller. Also has a clutch to his name, 2 actually. He's definitely being a much impactful player for Vega here as they make their way up towards A once again.
Fox trying to go ahead and find a quick double. Now there are still more players here to help him out. You also have Angel tucked away and undiscovered for the time being. Down goes Crush as the bomb gets dropped, and surely there's no way for JR and Tony Black to force their way back into this round. But Tony Black just going to delete Angel in through the boxes. Now the bomb's been retrieved. It can look to go down. No time to get into these post-plant positions, and that's because of Bondik's close proximity here to this bomb site. I'm not entirely sure that they're aware. The bomb not planted for sure. JR. Gonna go toe-to-toe with Woxic, who does spot him. Gonna try and flash his way in, but JR wins that duel, comes out trumps over the CT-sided AWPer, and now it is just Bondik in a 1v2. Time ticking against him as well. He's been struggling a lot today, and these struggles only look to continue. He's gonna try and go for the Ninja, and it just doesn't happen. 14-7 here, as Vega just 2 rounds away from sending HellRaisers home and securing their spot in the playoffs in a day's time. And for these guys, it's been a real story of growth and improvement here on Inferno. You know, we've seen so many close games, them, you know, grinding these games out, going to the overtimes, then having them slip through their fingers. Potentially, we could see them finally be in a position here to take a map of Inferno.
Yeah, and I mean, if you mentioned it as we came onto the broadcast, really, the fact that, yeah, it might not look pretty when you look at the statistics for Inferno, how many, you know, losses in a row they have on the map and whatnot, but there's a reason why they continuously end up on it. And it's, you know, they're not a poor Inferno team by any stretch of the imagination. They've just had some rough losses here and there. And I guess, you know, when you play, I guess, more regional opponents, et cetera, that can always lead to a bit wonky results, but you definitely see the quality that this team can bust out every now and again. And, well, for HellRaisers, it's dire needs another round. The aggression down mid might be the solution here. Crush, look to find a double frag, and JR finds Woxic as well, the other threat down in middle, and that might just stave off any sort of hope HellRaisers had of getting back into this. Vega Squadron 4v2, so close to getting into a match point. Tony Black is going to get surprised by Issa, but really, so spread apart. Pretty much the world's their oysters now for Vega Squadron. They can opt to go for any which bomb site they want. And it's going to be all on HellRaisers to make the right call as to where they want to gamble.
And Vega, they are going to go walking in to the remaining 2 players for HR. Ooh, spot 1 here. The footsteps of Bondik tagging him up as well, but Issa barreling through that smoke. He's fallen. They don't even have to continue this aggression. Bondik, though, doesn't matter. They take the fight. They win it regardless. And Vega Squadron match point here. 15-7. Just 1 round away from sending the HellRaisers home and locking in their playoff spot.
This is really impressive stuff from Vega Squadron.
Yeah, I mean, it feels almost fitting, right, that we've seen them come so close to winning out on this map so many times. From speaking to them as well, I know that they've said this is a map that they feel very comfortable on. They just always, you know, have it kind of elude them just towards the end. Only now, 1 round, that's all they need, and they're finally going to be onto a win on this map at such a crucial juncture as well. I mean, you know, this is the game that decides whether or not you continue here at this event. And
really good to see Chopper having a bit of a standout game as well. So at this point, we really have had pretty much everyone on the side of Vega come shining through with a pretty solid performances throughout their games. I mean, Crush was pretty decent versus Gambit on Train.
Then, you know, you look over at HellRaisers and the Chad curse of Issa and Moxic being the two to keep an eye on. They've
Chad the Shaman. Man, yeah, we were expecting a lot more out of that deadly duo on the HellRaisers side. It's all gone wrong. And now, though, the bye that they mount into what could potentially be the last round of their tournament life. 2 ZZs, 2 MP9s, and a FAMAS. That's not really a whole lot to work with here. Issa is in a pretty good position to potentially get the drop on one player here. So he actually gets obliged by Tony Black there at some point.
And Fox peeking into this does spot them out, so there's still plenty of time left. Don't have to commit to this just yet. A little bit of chip damage done in through the smoke there from Woxic now. Issa in with another, and if you're Vega, maybe the cog's turning a bit here. You've spotted 3 players already. You hear the footsteps of Angel down towards CT. Could even be anticipating this stack, and start to maybe understand the hesitancy as well, knowing that for the most part it's these SMGs, the CZs. You've handed an AK over to Issa and he's here with it. So now they turn their attention back toward B, and that would be the right call to make. Only Bondic here. Floating in towards CT, that's going to be Angel. He's nearby, now taking up position down towards CT spawn. They have to have a smoke for the cross, which they do not have. So this is an easy time of it for Angel, but he's still not going to find anything. He goes down and out.
Bondic is expecting the wrap from Crush. Still not going to be able to win the duel, though. 5 seconds left. Bomb goes down. Now the 2 remaining men coming in from Banana, Issa and Dead Fox, have to come up clutch to keep HellRaisers alive. It's a good way of starting it. JR falls 2v2. Crush, though, delivering when needed the most. Issa, can he really pull this off? No, you can't. Crush finalizes the result, punches in the 16th number, and that means Vega are going to go into the playoffs here once we come back from our day off. And HellRaisers, one of your better performers at the major, out in groups.
Yeah, I'm not sure that many people would have seen that one coming. Vega, it's been a real story of growth for this team, I think, throughout the few days that we have seen them here at the group stages. They've been going from strength to strength, in particular on Inferno. And now we just kind of have to see them. Where else does their map pool lead? You know, we've seen them with wins on Train as well, so they've had a decent time of things thus far. I think for HellRaisers there, you know, the real kind of bread and butter is just Issa and Woxic not hitting their shots, right? I don't think, then you kind of see as well, Angel, Bondic never really arriving to the fray. Angel especially really falling off, not having the game of a lifetime there.
I mean, weirdly enough, you know, Bondic, he goes 8 for 17, which is obviously not what you want out of him, but, you know, in opening duels, he's 1-0. He just didn't get into the game a whole lot. He was, you know, stuck in awkward situations where you either get, you know, and you're already dealing with a man disadvantage, that kind of thing. Never really given him much of a chance to succeed, and that I think that was his issue. For Angel, he took plenty of duels to start rounds off, but just couldn't win out them. And when you have an in-game leader who's, you know, has a reputation for being one of the better fraggers, then obviously it's going to be a pretty big loss when he has such a big off game as he does.
Yeah, and I mean, it kind of speaks volumes, right? 1 and 7, sorry, in those opening duels. So that suggesting Angel being the guy trying to open up rounds, constantly going for it, and then, you know, always kind of playing at a man disadvantage if you are over on the side of HR. Yeah, admittedly, Angel, you know, can kind of then lead from behind the squad, you know, like kind of playing that like guardian angel role, right? Kind of calling everything, but it just didn't. It was just missing today for HellRaisers, right? And for Vega, I mean, everyone turning up at such a crucial juncture.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, we got to see the first good game out of Chopper, this tournament event. It's a great time to start peaking at the major in London. He pretty much had the opposite trajectory where he started off red hot and then tapered off as the games went along. Tony Black actually been, you know, together with Kuchi, probably been the most consistent performer on the side of Vega, which is really cool to see. And JR, you know, delivering when needed to. So, all over, you know, positive showing from Vega Squadron. Looking forward to what they can do in the playoffs.
Yeah, well, we're going to go ahead and give this one over to an interview with the Vega Squadron guys.
I'm delighted to be joined by a man whose face is possibly almost as famous as his frags. It's JR from Vega Squadron and Alex, the team manager, who's going to translate for us. JR, you guys have proven that you can play with the big boys. You have sent the kings of Ukraine home, the HellRaisers. We've waved bye to them. Thanks to you, how does it feel to have come so far in this tournament?
Доказали, что можем сражаться с большими, так сказать, именами, и отправили, как бы смешно не казался, Шер домой. Собственно, благодаря тебе. Какие вообще ощущения по игре и в целом?
На самом деле очень, скажем так, довольны результатом, потому что выход в плей-офф на этом турнире, да, первый выход в плей-офф, скажем так, для этого лайнапа, и только позитивные эмоции. Будем ждать, чтобы сыграть на сцене.
So he's just like literally very excited about the first playoff we made in this lineup, because we are only like half a year old. So yeah, we're just excited, and we'll be waiting, really waiting for the match on the stage in front of a crowd. Yeah.
Are you nervous about being in front of the crowd? Is that going to add any pressure, JR?
Волнуешься ли то, что придется играть перед зрителями? Добавляет ли это какого-то давления?
Да, давление не уверен, что добавляет, но приятно играть перед публикой. Это более, скажем так, живая атмосфера. Но здесь более там закрытые, там мы слышим, скажем так, только друг друга. Но если будет, скажем так, рев толпы, будет еще интереснее.
So it's not really about the pressure, but you feel alive when you're playing in front of the audience, because right now, as for the group stage, we just hear ourselves, and if we'll hear the crowd, even though it won't be like that big, because arena is not too big, so if people will shout and cheer for like any team, doesn't matter if they cheer for us, yeah, we'll be happy with that.
Now, I can't say whether you expected to get to the playoffs, JR. You can tell me that in a moment. But how far do you think you can go this weekend?
Может, не представляли, что дойдем до плей-оффа, но сейчас, как ты считаешь, какие вообще у нас шансы есть на то, чтобы показать себя в плей-оффе? Как далеко можем зайти?
Все зависит, скажем так, не то что от оппонента, но от того, как мы сами будем чувствовать игру в данный момент. Поэтому трудно сказать, в какой мы форме подойдем к плей-оффу, потому что ты сегодня, скажем так, попадаешь, завтра не попадаешь. Но это сложно говорить. Но, скажем так, мы будем стараться на максимум в плей-оффе, каждый, скажем так, будем бороться за каждый раунд.
So it's not really about the opponent at this point, but it's about how the team will feel on the exact day, because today you can hit like crazy headshots, and tomorrow you won't hit any. So it's just about how the team feels, and yeah, I guess we're ready to face like any team.
Well, JR, you hit those crazy headshots today when it mattered most. Finally, one final cheeky question, boys. If you win here at Starladder, will we see more than one facial expression from you, JR?
Ну, у тебя довольно-таки скудное лицо на эмоции, так скажем. И если вдруг ты выиграешь турнир, какие эмоции ты покажешь? Будут ли они более живыми?
Но в игре я стараюсь полностью эмоции выключить, потому что эмоции в игре мешают, скажем так, лучше играть. Поэтому после игры уже там спустя какое-то время, я отхожу и уже там более там осознаю, более там радостный от победы.
So he just tries to like turn off all the emotions inside the game, because it doesn't really help. But if we win a match and sometime in 5 minutes he's a more happier person than he is in games. So yeah.
Well, I'm sure you'll be a lot happier once I finish talking to you, JR. Thank you so much. Congratulations, guys. You round out our top 8. And as a little reminder, Vega Squadron are going to be joining Big, North, Frags, NRG, Optic, ENT, and Renegades. So let's head back to the desk, because I imagine they have a lot to say because, well, Thorin's there in the EN one, isn't he?
Vega do get it done against HellRaisers, and quite convincingly as well. It seems like it was quite easy to put out the flames this time around, but at least for Vega, we finally, no impotent map for Chopper. He managed to get it done, Chad.
Yeah, and he gets to start on that CT side, so that was pretty cool in that regard. I think that we've proven a lot here. Duncan can will Vega to win, and Tony Black to play well, And
Your curse is stronger than mine.
it's crazy, right?
I've turned the corner on predictions. I'm nailing it. Tony Black's the man. Vega Squadron's the future. By the way, I will just say, I even said it beforehand, I actually do think that HellRaisers was the correct pick there.
Yeah.
Obviously, I picked Tony Black for the memes, his name.
Sure.
Don't actually think it, but it worked, so just shows that predictions are absolutely worthless, to be honest.
So we lost Complexity and HellRaisers didn't make it to the playoffs at an event after being top 8 at the major. I think, there was also Mouse Sports went out, they weren't able to get through. Those are the 3 bigger missions from this, like that game just there. I think that all these teams, Mouse Sports, HellRaisers, and Complexity will say that they probably didn't feel like they played this tournament as themselves, right? And I think that would be a fair assessment, especially for HellRaisers and Mouse Sports. Obviously, Complexity were the massive surprise package at the major just gone. It's just maybe, I don't want to say too much Counter-Strike, but that's probably the case. It's probably too much Counter-Strike. Maybe Mouse Sports and the boys from HellRaisers should have given this one a break. Maybe should have given it a skip, or I don't know, tried to have fun with this event. It just feels like this is how you start a negative spiral, and it's good signs from Vega. Another game where they were able to like front run and actually close, right? This wasn't a game where they allowed HellRaisers to get back into it. So positive signs from them out of this tournament.
And we now get to see Vega in a best of 3, so obviously coming into the playoff stages, which will be rather interesting. One of the key points, though, is Dead Fox was top fragging for HellRaisers, not something we normally see, right? But Angel went 6 for 18, but he only won 1 out of 7 of his opening duels as an entry fragger.
Yeah, well, that's that obviously when you're getting dictated to on the CT side, right? Because you got to think about where the context of these kills came from. Is it all on one side? Because honestly, we can't really keep track of all this stuff. The stat doesn't break it down on both the halves for us here. But if you're playing a bomb side that they want to bully a lot and you're giving away opening kills, that's never a fantastic thing to do. If you're trying to entry frag on the T side and you're getting shut down every time, but you're opening up space, that's where the difference comes into things, right? Yeah. But I think that, look, you have to factor in, we did see Dead Fox win that clutch just there. So that's one round that HellRaisers, I don't know. I don't want to say anything bad about them because I know they can be a good team. I just think, like I said, this wasn't them in this tournament, and good stuff from Vega. That's about it. It's as simple as that.
And Foreign also predicted Bondix clutch as well that you mentioned there.
Dead
He's
Fox.
on point with it.
Yeah. Dead Fox.
Oh, Dead Fox, sorry. Yeah, Dead Fox is clutch even.
Yeah, he's good. He gets it done, right? He gets
That's the thing, it's one of those bizarre scenarios where when he is in those situations, no joke, he actually does somehow make really good players. He wins them quite a lot of matches. It's just that in the other factors of the game, except for this particular instance, he generally isn't really that good a player. What was interesting about this game actually was, aside from the meme of Tony Black, it's actually a pretty decent team effort from Vega Squadron, actually. They haven't been the Vega Squadron of old where either May carried them or Chopper at the major. It's been a pretty decent effort, and I've impressed that they've actually been able to get so many upsets, because these were ones where it wasn't like the old fashion of, oh, we've got Mirage against someone who likes Mirage, who's going to play, kill them all with CZs, play Super Aggro. They didn't really do a lot of that, actually. For example, on the CT side, they played fairly passive. It looked pretty good.
Yeah, they weren't doing anything that was too like gimmicky, right? They weren't having to do anything that was like crazy pushes or crazy plays that are not the percentage ones, right? This is when we saw them in the major. We go, yeah, we expect these guys to do random things and catch teams off guard. Here at this event, they have actually been able to win games in more of a fundamental method, right? More of what we're used to. And that is a positive sign for them going forward. So definitely some good growing signs out of Vega as they move into the playoffs. This is where their map pool gets tested though, right?
Yes, that's the main thing, right? This is how far can we see Vega go. Now, when I was speaking to the Vega guys, one of the things they did mention most as well is obviously a lot of these online tournaments they have to play in, especially if they have to play on the European side. They do suffer with the whole high ping side of things, like 90 plus, that kind of MS. So they say very much, oh yeah, we prefer LAN. Well, now this is your time to prove it. You've got it through the Swiss system, but what, you only beat Gambit, Sprout, and okay, HellRaisers. HellRaisers and Gambit, you'll say, is pretty legit wins in there, but the Sprout one, you kind of hope they'd be able to do that. But now moving into the best of threes, do we really think they can continue this form? Is there an opportunity there?
Matchup dependent, I suppose. I think that a lot of this is going to be very matchup dependent as we move into the next round. And they are a 3-2 team. So if they faced an NRG or an ENTS, I would give the map pool advantage to both of those squads.
Yeah, definitely.
Right? So this is where they have to continue to prove that they are, well, this is the thing. With the games they've won a train, they've won a Mirage and an Inferno. So that's 3 maps, but you're not going to get those 3 maps in a likely scenario within a best of 3, right? That'd be very unlikely. So they have to continue to prove to us that they are growing, because normally they're just known as a best of 1 team. So,
and certainly people are going to not allow them to get away with what they have been doing and kind of just the crazy fragging and the way they've been performing across the board. Now, a final look at the standings sees all of our teams through, but the ending interesting one. Obviously, we spoke about the whole mouse sports thing, complexity, HellRaisers not being in it there. Any other big ones that you say, like Gambit, are we really surprised they went out 1 and 3 just because of their 50-50?
I'm not overly surprised that Gambit went out here. I'm more surprised that we didn't see, considering like the starts, considering Imperial's start, I'm surprised that we didn't see them make it through. And mouse sports, obviously. HellRaisers is the other one, but we already touched on that. So those are the big omissions for me. I think that Gambit here was almost like a final hurrah in a lot of ways.
Okay. Okay, well, we're at this stage now. We're waiting for the draw. So this could bring us on to talk about, we're seeing more players, right, use this AUG, use the Kree, bring that into the game. We saw Chris J using the Tech 9 as well after these changes. Because obviously we're playing at the moment throughout the Star Series is not with the new money changes, but the weapon changes are in.
I'm curious to see what happens in that day off, because they have a day to play tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
And if we're actually going to change the economic stuff, I'm sure that decision will be made by Starladder within, I would assume, the next 12 hours, right? So if they wanted to prac with the new money system tomorrow for the playoffs, they could. I would say in the middle of the tournament,
I would guess no.
I would leave it as is.
Yeah.
But I think we will see more of the, obviously more of the new Tech 9. Obviously, we'll get to see more of the Krieg and the Org. If it is actually viable, people will be using it. There's no reason for them not to with that new money change. So the Friday games will be exciting. Oh, here we go, the draw.
Oh, we're at it. So Ents are going to go up against Big. Thoughts on that one for a starter?
Look at the bottom half of the bracket.
Yeah.
One of those teams is going to the final.
Oh,
Wow.
wow. It's the first final for some of them in a long time.
That is actually ridiculous.
Jesus.
That looks like, you know what that looks like? That looks like a double elimination bracket.
Yeah,
and
lower
that's the
and upper.
lower bracket down
Yeah.
there. That is crazy.
Well, especially because obviously the wild thing is, it doesn't matter whether you played them or not. If you are basically, sure, Optic have some pedigree in their players, but at the moment, if you are any of those teams on the bottom part of the bracket and you go to the final, even if you lose, you can still say, I was in the final of a tournament that had the mouse sports team in that won that.
Yep.
Sure.
It is an accolade, you know.
Holy
You know,
macaroni.
I really would love to see just an amazing run come out of Fraxters from that.
Oh.
This is legit possible.
The only sad thing is, you are in the top half of the bracket. As a result, you have, for example, NRG North.
Yes.
Potentially could have been a semi-final, a final.
Yeah.
You're going to maybe have something like NRG versus Big in the semi-final. Again, potential final when you look at the teams that are left. So,
Ents as well.
hopefully we're going to get a strong team come out at the top of the bracket. The good thing is, I would say, there are some very even matchups here. Like, I think most of these have some real play in them.
Yeah, that is a good point. There doesn't seem to be any that have a massive disparity, which normally isn't what you want for the first round of a
Yes.
bracket. But at least the first round will be exciting games.
Well, that is us all done for today. We get our matchups. We have a day off tomorrow. We come back on Friday, so make sure you join us for that. You saw the times up on your screen. A nice and early start, ready for some exciting games and a lot of best of threes with a best of 5 grand final, the way we love to see it. So enjoy some time off tomorrow. We'll be back on Friday, and we'll see you then.
Loot Bet. With Hellcase multi-cases, you are no longer restricted by random case opening mechanisms. Now, you are able to pick any of the cells containing skins and actually determine what you win. Use the promo code and dive right in.
I'm a soldier, I'm a fighter. You can't burn me, I'm the igniter. Gonna be a legend, gonna take it all. Watch me crush it like a wrecking ball.